Hey guys, it's Jeannie, and yes, it's me. I am finally back with a new video for you guys, and I am so sorry that it's taking so long with some minor health issues and school starting back up. I homeschool my daughter, so I am the teacher. It's been kind of crazy the last few weeks, so I apologize. But enough excuses. You didn't come here for excuses. You came here for a video, right? So let's go ahead and get started. Now, the video that I'm doing today is very important to me. I've been a hairdresser for over 11 years. So this topic definitely came up when I left the working salon world. I left the salon about 6 years ago. I was 2 weeks away from my due date with my daughter, and so since then I stopped working to be home with her, and since then I've stayed home with her and my son to be a stay-at-home mother. I still do hair, I'm still licensed, but it's normally just family and friends. And so this topic came up when I left my clients, when I was leaving my clients to have my daughter. They were all asking me, where do I go now? Who do you suggest? How am I going to find a new hairdresser? Because I had been doing their hair for over 5 years, some of them. So this topic is really important for a lot of people, especially for me as a hairdresser. I always had my hair done at one place where I worked. And after I left there, and it's really far from where our new home is, I wanted to know where I could go. Well, I had to dip back into my memory about how a lot of people told me that they came to find me as their hairdresser. And so I wrote a little list, and also I wrote some things down to talk to you about how to not have a bad experience with a hairdresser, whether it be a hairdresser you're used to going to or a new hairdresser that you're just trying out. So let me see. The first one seems pretty obvious, but some people forget to do this. If you have a family member or a friend who has gorgeous hair or amazing hair, ask them where they get it done and who does it for them. That's the best way. They're close to you. They're not going to lie to you. They're going to tell you because they're not going to want you to get your hair messed up. So they're more than likely going to tell you who does their hair. Now, along with that same line, if you're out and about shopping, at an event, anywhere, and you see someone with hair that you just love, you love the color, you love the cut, first compliment them on their hair and then ask them, where do you get your hair done? Who does it for you? Can you give me their number or the shop's number? Because that's going to do two things. First, you're going to make their day because you're going to compliment them. And let's face it, women, who of us do not like to be complimented? It lifts our spirits. It makes us feel better and more confident for the day. So you do that. And then secondly, you're going to find out where they have their hair done. And if it's something, if they have a hairdo that you really love, you just love how their hair is done, it's going to help you find a good hairdresser. Now, keep in mind, that being said, not everyone has the same hair texture. So, try to make sure it's somebody who has hair texture like your own. Like if you have super straight hair and somebody has kinky curly hair and you love it, that might not help you. So just try to keep in mind your hair texture and what it's going to do and what that person's hair is doing. But especially with color, if you find someone who has gorgeous coloring, like maybe you want something that has multi-tones, like highlights and lowlights, reds and browns, ask them, because if it's a good hair color job, then that's what you want. So that's going to help you find a person that will do your hair as well. Okay, so the next one I have is bring a picture of what you want. Now, a lot of people already know that, and they already do that. But more importantly, bring a picture of what you don't like, what you don't want. And what I mean by that is, some people, when I was in the shop, a lot of people wanted a bob, like the Victoria Beckham bob was pretty in back when I was in the mainstream of the salon, the inverted bob. So they would bring pictures of that. Well, then I would say, well, do you want it this way or that way? And they didn't know. So make sure you know what you don't want. So maybe if you like the inverted bob, but you didn't like it so stacked in the back, bring a picture of something really stacked and say, I don't like that. I prefer more of it lower stack. That way, not only does the hairdresser get an idea of what you like about that certain style, but they also see maybe of what they need to do a little less of, or maybe not exactly like that style. It just gives us an idea of, a better picture of what you're expecting. And that's another point. Make sure that when you first get there, you're really having a consultation with your hairdresser. Not just, I want a bob. You're going to get whatever their idea of a bob is. Maybe you have a different idea of a bob. So definitely have a picture of what you like and what you want, and a picture of what you don't like and what you don't want. Maybe you don't want your hair to flip out, but you like how the bangs are on this picture, but you don't like how the hair flips out. Sorry, my dogs get very excited about this topic too. So make sure you have a picture that you don't like and what you do like. Okay. So my next one is, what do you do if you don't even know who you were going to go to? You don't even know what shop to go to. Well, my biggest recommendation, now this is how a lot of my clients actually came to me. I worked in a chain salon, so we had a lot of walk-ins. So a lot of people actually had to wait quite a while. And I would have quite a few of them tell me that the reason they came to me is they had time and they watched me. They watched how I acted with other clients. They watched how I explained things, and they just observed me. So if you have a little time and you can go into a salon, maybe ask them to just get a shampoo and a blow dry. Now what that's going to do is, a shampoo and blow dry cannot really go wrong. You're just getting your hair washed and blow dried. What that does is, as you're in the salon, in that experience, you're going to see how the people around you are working together, how they're working with their clients. You're going to get to see them interacting, but you're also going to get to see how they're doing hair, how they're cutting someone's hair, how they're coloring it maybe. And if you're there on a busy day, you'll get to see pretty much the whole salon, in a busy state. So you'll get to see most of the stylist. It also helps you to see maybe if the personality of you and the hairdresser doesn't go well. If the person who's actually washing and blow drying your hair that day, you kind of really click with that person, then maybe that's a great thing for you to come back and have an actual haircut or color with that person. But if you see someone else that maybe you think your personality would go with better and you really like how they're doing someone's hair and giving them their full attention, then maybe the next time you come in, you request that person. Now that being said, don't expect to, on that same day that you're getting a wash and blow dry, to be able to get a haircut, because sometimes if you're observing that person, you really like their work, chances are other people do as well. So maybe they make appointments and they're full that day. So I would say make sure you're not expecting to have a haircut that day. You're just going to observe. And that way there's really no risk. It is a little bit of cost because you're going to have to pay for the shampoo and the blow dry, but you're not risking your hair, which I know is so important to so many of us. And why not? It's our, we're adorned with our hair. It's how we show our personality. Okay, that goes into the next one. It doesn't matter where you go. You can go to a very expensive salon and pay so much money, or you can go to one of the cheaper chain salons, like what I used to work at. It doesn't matter where you go. There is always going to be hairdressers who love what they're doing and are excited to go to work and to transform people and help people feel beautiful. And there's going to be people there who are just there for the job, for the money aspect of it. And the reason I know this is because in school, when I was in hair school, there was a young lady, very sweet, very nice, but she was only there to learn how to cut her son's hair and her husband's hair so that she could save money in the long run. But then towards the end of the school year, she still wasn't as excited about hair. She decided she was going to actually work in a salon because she thought she would make pretty good money at it. And to be honest, you can make pretty good money at being a hairstylist. But she still didn't have that passion. She was still only there to make money and to learn how to cut hair. So even if she went to work at a really nice salon that charged $60 to $70 for a haircut, that doesn't mean she's going to have passion and really love it. Whereas maybe if you go into a salon, I was kind of scooped up right out of school to go into hair cuttery, which is, like I said, it's a chain salon. But honestly, I had a passion for it. They educated me on color and cuts, and I took education every, year, every couple months with them. They had us learning something new, and I really had a passion for it. So just because I didn't work at a really expensive salon didn't mean I didn't love hair and felt like an artist with it. So like I said, if you think that you shouldn't go to one of these smaller chain or even like mall salons just because you think you're going to get a bad haircut no matter what, you may be surprised, because like I said, there's going to be people at expensive places, as well as, those cheaper kind of chain stores that are going to be passionate or are just going to be there for the money. So that's why I think it's really important to ask people who they recommend, to observe the salon and the people working in the salon. That way, no matter where you go, you're getting a good deal. And you can always, read reviews on Yelp and I think Yahoo or Google Maps or something. I don't know. Anywhere they have like reviews on it, you can go there too and kind of see maybe where you can start at, like a good starting point. Okay, now this is probably my most important tip that I will ever give anyone. Not only for finding a salon and a new stylist, but even if you already have a stylist or a salon that you go to, everyone needs to know what an inch means to them. Now, I'm saying that because as a hairdresser, one of the biggest complaints I've gotten from other people is I asked for an inch and they took off 3. Or I asked for a half an inch and they took off 6. And that's a pretty big deal, because if you're going in expecting only to get an inch taken off and they take off even 2 or 3 inches, that can be pretty shocking, and that could be pretty traumatic for some people, especially, you've worked to grow that hair out. It didn't take just a week. You've been working on that hair. So it can be pretty traumatic. So what I mean by knowing what it means to you is, I've had clients come in and say, oh, I'll just have an inch taken off. Now, I don't have a ruler with me, but that's a lot more than an inch. Now, in the same token, I've also had clients say, oh, I just want an inch taken off. Guys, that's a lot less than an inch. So you have to know what an inch is to you, but also to the stylist that you're working with. Because maybe that person thinks that this is an inch, or this is an inch, or this is an inch. So you really need to know what they think of an inch is. Now, you can do this by, well, this is how I used to do it, and not all stylists do this. I used to turn my people around so that their back was against the mirror, and then I would hand them the handheld, kind of like this one. And what that does is, they could see the back of their head, and I would show them exactly. Thankfully, the combs I had inches marked onto it, and I would show them exactly where an inch was, or 2, or whatever they were asking for. That way, there was no surprises. They knew exactly what that inch was. So if maybe they wanted only this much, they'd say, okay, you're right. Let's only take 1/4 of an inch off. Or if they saw really how much an inch was, they'd say, okay, you know what? Let's do maybe 2 or 3. So that way we were on the exact same page about how much hair we were taking off. There was no surprises, no traumatic experiences because we took off too many inches or they didn't feel like we took enough off. So big tip. Make sure you know what an inch is to you and what it is to your stylist. If you guys aren't on the same page, you know that they're probably going to either take off too much or not enough. So maybe it's a good time to say, you know what, I've changed my mind. I'll get it done another day. And do not feel bad for saying no. If you ever are in a stylist chair and you're not 100% comfortable with how they're acting towards you, or maybe how unprofessional they're being, do not be afraid to get up out of the chair and leave, because it's your hair. The only person it's going to hurt for you sitting there is yourself. You're not gonna, even if you offend that stylist is not someone you want to be with. Now, I'm not saying be rude. I'm just saying, say you've changed your mind, or say, you know what, let me just get a shampoo today. That way, you're not offending them, but you're also not risking your hair, because not every stylist really cares or loves what they're doing. So to save yourself and your hair, get up and get out, because I've had a lot of fixes come back, to me and say, can you fix this? You weren't available, so I went to this person, and I knew they weren't going to do it. I knew they were taking off too much, but I just didn't get up. Don't do that. Get up. Get out of the chair. Get out. All right, guys. So those are my top tips on how to have a good first experience or to find a new stylist or new salon. Keep those in mind as you're looking. A good stylist, I know, is out there for each and every one of you. You just have to find the one that clicks with you. And some things happen. Lives change, people move or stop working. So it's always good to have a backup plan, to know what you need to do if your stylist, if you're not able to get to your stylist. All right, guys, I hope that helped you, and I promise I will try not to make it so far between videos. And I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.